Hello, this is McMarine, and welcome to Let's Read Japanese, a course series for the reading of Japanese text alongside its audio counterpart. Alright, so the way it's going to work off this side is going to be the text I'll be reading, like this right here. Now, usually this text is subtitle ripped from TV shows, but it could also be a digital book. And then up above will be playing the audio I'll be reading along to. Usually it's the TV show the subs came from, but it could also be the audiobook version of the book that I'm reading. Alright, so I'm reading along as the audio plays. The main benefit there, I get, when you read the audio, you get probably better comprehension and retention of what you read. And that's true whether it's as a second language or even your first language, or your native language. All right, so as you read along, if the sentence seems a little difficult to understand, you can pause the audio and reread or replay the audio, even if you have the ability to hear the line over and over again, kind of if you can parse it that way. Another option you have, since if you have a pop-up dictionary like I do, called Yomi-chan, hover over it like that, and I can look at the do that real quick. I can look at the Japanese definition. If I can't figure out what the Japanese definition means, I can scroll on down and there will be a Japanese to English dictionary options as well to help. And again, the benefit here means that you get a comprehension of the story above what your level of Japanese, what your language level could be. That allows you to punch above your weight class, if you will. So since you understand this show, you get and comprehend it, hopefully you enjoy it better and you can follow along with the story even more, and not let like the one or two words you don't understand, stop that from happening. All right. When all is said and done, if you finish the show, another recommendation is that after you finished reading, go and rewatch the show as like you've done before. Rewatch it as it's meant to be watched. In other words, so just take away all this text right here. You can even turn off the subtitles if you want, and then just watch the show, and you'll find it's at a much higher level of comprehension than if you had just tried to immerse yourself immediately into the show without looking up anything, just depending only on your level of the language, your current level of the language. All right, now what I'm going to do as an experiment, or not experiment, sorry, what I'll do from now on is I'm not going to go into that level of detail in introductions, except in the first episode of a series. So every time I start a new series, I'll do a more lengthier introduction. All right, so I'll try that part. Same thing when it comes to this part here, where I'm going to be doing this is a now so this introduction here. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and a like, and leave a comment. Cool. If you like the series, subscribe to the channel. Cool, makes sense. If you like this is part of the Let's Learn Japanese project. If you like that project, what I'm doing with the project and helping the Japanese language learning community, you can support that by joining the Patreon. The links to that down below, as well as links to the Let's Learn Japanese website made by Otaku Dave, the Let's Learn Japanese community Discord, and also if you want to hire me on commission, there are links directly to that. The hourly rates are given, and it's done via the Patreon. And again, commissions normally just means technical assistance and advice, usually getting started utilizing all these tools like Anki and setting up Morphman and other items that are just not normally associated, that have become very common tools in the language learning community. Okay. With that, we are doing Let's Read Japanese, ki no nani tabeta, and you can tell it's usually nani o tabeta, but ki no nani tabeta. What did you eat yesterday? It's a slice of life drama. It's a couple of gentlemen who and one's a lawyer, one's a hairdresser, and just talking about it's slice of life. So it's just basically talking about their life, for lack of a better term. And their relationship as a gay couple in Japan. Let's see. Actually, let me check real quick. Hold up here. I will say, since this is a live stream, I posted this is June 30th is when the live stream is happening. For those of you catching this on, I think I'm gonna post this. Yeah, I'll be posting this on July the 10th, making this public again after I turn it to private after the live stream. But when I made this recording, it's on the same day I made a video talking about when I paid $1,100 for an Anki deck, and so that's what the videos mean. Now reason why I wanted to set it for July 1st, because that's when it became officially true. I mean, right now it's only $1,000, but next month it'll turn into $1,100. Hence the title of the video. So the next day is July the 1st, hence when the video is going to come live and whatnot. So I'll be discussing what I'll do, and I'm going to try it as an experiment in that I'm doing it as a announcement or whatever it is, a live I'm not sure how that works, but I guess a broadcast, there we go. And I guess while it's playing, I can then, there'll be comments happening and people can be commenting on the broadcast of it. And so I will be participating that way. So that's going to be 9 o'clock tomorrow Japan time. What is that? 5 o'clock in California time, 8 o'clock East Coast, something like that. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 p.m. in the evening. Yeah. As for this is my wife likes the series. I like the series. It's on Netflix, but it was broadcast on Japanese television. It's in its second season, but it's currently in its second season. So I think episodes 3 or 4 has been made available on Netflix. I don't think it has English as an option, so it is only in Japanese if my understanding is correct. I could check and verify, but but it's a good show. Like I said, I like it. It's lighthearted. It is a comedy. It's a comedy drama. Some things are cringeworthy as I've seen it. But it's fairly straightforward to follow along with. This slice of life dramas, anime, or even light novels generally are pretty much simpler to follow. The settings is modern day Japan, probably Tokyo, but it could also be other cities or even a countryside. And the subject matter is pretty straightforward. It could be for adult life, school life, or home life, or a mix of those together. And yeah, so it would be kind of interesting to see. Since a lot of these Let's Reads that I've done up to this point have been a bit more dramatic, or last few have actually been anime, and GTO is definitely not slice of life. So yeah, it'll be, especially when I started off like, well, not Zetai Karashi or Hanayori Dango, but when you, like around 40, you would think would fall under slice of life. I would think. He Who Can't Get Married is kind of slice of life. It's definitely kind of in those categories. If my understanding of what slice of life means is what it means. So with that, let's So with that, and Drock saying, I like how your channel introduces new media I may not have considered before. And what I also changed is I'm trying to depend only on Netflix. In that, at least if you go to Netflix and you get your language settings, make sure you select where you want options in English and Japanese, and maybe even want to change your language to Japanese, and it will show you those options available. May not, because like I said, if a video didn't have any English available at all, Netflix might not show you that video as an option, even though you have access to it, depending on what their licensing rights are for, their broadcast rights are. So yeah, remember to do that. Now, what I did with my Netflix is I did change it to Japanese, so now all the descriptions are in Japanese. It doesn't matter with this one, but with the Shinya Shokudo, the titles of the episodes weren't being given in English, but they were in Japanese, so I decided, okay, let me just switch to Japanese. Normally, I usually have my settings in English. I'm not one of those that feel like I got to change everything to Japanese. It's a good idea. It would be a good idea, but preferably not at the start of stuff. When you've actually maybe at the intermediate levels or maybe even advanced. It's a holdover for when Katsumoto was like saying, change all the things to Japanese. Okay. Maybe don't change all the things, especially in the beginning. Wait till especially if you depend upon that material for doing your actual day-to-day job and livelihood. But for the most part, though, yeah, it's still a good idea. And especially, again, as I mentioned, with Netflix, because they will show you more stuff if you make it one of the, like I said, right now I could probably be seeing a lot more Korean dramas if I had changed the settings to Korean. But right now, but again, I'm not learning Korean. It's just as an example. So anyway, that's just a little tip, and hopefully it works. And if not, there's always the VPN route, but I can't help you there. I know I don't use a VPN, but you know I probably should. Yeah, I'll leave it with that. With that, let's get started. And by the way, I looked at the numbers, at least when I did the rips of the audio rips on these, and did a compact immersion audio rip. With Shinya Shokudo, like it was a 22-minute video on Netflix, but it comes to about averaged about 13 or 14 minutes of audio, of dialogue. This is about 28 minutes long, and it comes to about 21 minutes of dialogue audio, which means I'm expecting these to take actually the full hour. Shinya Shokudo, I was like being finished around the 40-minute mark. This will take this particular drama, I'm expecting it to be done past the hour mark. So just a heads up. Which means this entire season is going to take a little bit longer. You know, even though I'll still just do two most a day, record just maybe at most 2 a day. But anyway, time will tell. Let's see what we get out of this. That was a long-winded introduction. Sorry about that.
いや、ですから。
All right, so it's Kakei. Let's see if we got Kakei, but also Kakei, Kakui. As I mentioned before, that's why usually when you have a business card, you not only do you show the name, you write above it in furigana like how to pronounce your name. That's very common. And okay, and it's Shiro. So, Kakei Shiro.
私に、いや、ですから、私に謝らなくてもいいんですよ。
ごめんなさい。本当にごめんなさい。
So her name is Seiko. There's also is it always Seiko? Kayoko. Okay. Seiko, Kayoko, Kiriko. Seiko.
ごめんなさい。本当にごめんなさい。でもあの日、大輝の誕生日だったんです。
Daiki. That's hers. I think that's her son's name. Daiju Daiki. Daiki.
でもあの日、大輝の誕生日だったんです。5歳の。
ええ。
Yeah, 5-year-old.
それでプレゼント送ったって今田さん嬉しそうにおっしゃってたじゃない。
今田さん。Yeah, 今田。Yeah, Imata. Maybe Imata. Let's feel. Let me get this a little smaller.
今田さん嬉しそうにおっしゃってたじゃないですか。
Yeah, you can't see it, but I can see. I can see the whole screen.
そうなんです。前から好きだった戦隊もののおもちゃ。
戦隊。戦隊もののおもちゃ。
前から好きだった戦隊もののおもちゃ気に入ってくれたかな。もうあれで遊んでくれたかな。大きくなったかなって、そんなこと考えてたら
いても立ってもいられなくなって。
立っても excruciating. 立ってもいても立っても
いても立ってもいられなくなって別れた旦那さんの家に行って大輝くんの名前を叫び続けてしまった。
ああ、うん。
やっぱり私おかしいですよね。
いえ、親が我が子に会いたくなるのは当然です。
So she's probably got a separation order or restraining order to keep her from seeing her son.
問題は
It's probably a condition of the custody agreement.
夜中の2時に行動してしまうことです。
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
問題は夜中の2時に行動してしまうことです。
Now, to everyone else, that's like a, you know, it just makes no sense. But to her, at the time, probably made complete and perfect sense to do that because it's her son. But again, though, it would make sense that for custody reasons there to be, okay, no, she's got a, restraining order against her.
ああ、腹減ったな。人間ってなんで腹減るんだろう。昨日の夜なんかもう米一粒も入らないってくらい食べたのに。
米一コーナー Let's see what that. Oh, okay. Let's see if that's a full phrase. Tokuna. Come on. Subu? Wait, let me hear that again.
若先生。
もう米一粒も入らないってくらい食べたのに。
若先生、あの時間から食べたんですか？
So her name is Shino? 先生。
だから太るんですよ。少しは。筧先生見習って。節制した方がいいと思いますよ。
節制？食欲などよ。Restraint. Moderate. 節制した方が。
節制した方がいいと思いますよ。
厳しい言い方になりますが、調停になれば。
調停。A mediator? Let's see, wait. Arbitration mediation. 調停になれば。
調停になれば、今回の件で裁判官の印象は悪くなると思います。
裁判官 Is that the judge? 裁判官 Courthouse? Justice the judge. 裁判官印象。
調停になれば、今回の件で裁判官の印象は悪くなると思います。相手方は今以上にあなたの健康状態について突っ込んでくるでしょう。
先生、助けてください。私本当に夫の新しい家庭を壊したいとかみじんも持ってないんです。
みじんも。ほんの少しも。Not a little bit. Oh, that's right. みじん like a dust. Atom of okay, みじん。公開したいとか、みじんも。Not the least little bit.
夫の新しい家庭を壊したいとかみじんも持ってないんです。ただ大輝に会いたい。それだけなんて。
The music, I think they're doing the music on purpose because this would be like really sad to hear if the music was not the lighthearted you're hearing. It sounds like a sort of comedic, but it's not comedic. I think it's a poor choice of music, given the subject matter here. But maybe they didn't want to start it off on a heavy note.
わかりました。月1回の子供との面会は通常裁判所で認められています。
裁判所。Okay, so we had make sure. 裁判官、裁判所。裁判官 the judge, 裁判所 the justice department. 通常 regular court. 通常裁判所。通常。
月1回の子供との面会は通常裁判所で認められています。諦めずに頑張りましょう。
筧先生と比べないでよ。だってもともとの見た目がさ。
今田さん大丈夫でしたか？
ああ、今落ち着いて帰られたよ。どうかした？
若先生がね、夜食べ過ぎって話をしてたんです。
だって昨日はカニだったんだもん。クライアントの実家が北海道で。 こんな送ってくれて。北海道のズワイガニって。
ズワイガニ Snow. Oh, okay. Very expensive too. ズワイガニ。
春が旬なんだって。
おさむ
Let's see. So there's a Yoshie, Tomie, Harumi, Osamu. Oh, okay.
おさむ
So that's how it's Osamu. Osami, Osamu, Osamu.
あなたはうちから徒歩10分のところに住んでて、お裾分けの一つもないのね。
Osawaki no itotsu. Well, that's the hem of the skirt, right? Let's see. Osowake. Osowake no itotsu mo nai no ne. Oh, so sharing. Osowake. To share with somebody. Osowake. もらったものや利益の一部分を分けていいとなんか。Okay, so giving a portion to someone else. Okay, sharing with others what's been given to you.
お裾分けの一つもないのね。
お母さん。
そう、カニもらったの。
いや、うちは食べ盛りの子が2人もいるし。
By the way, they're not going to get that sort of guilt trip wouldn't work on me. But sorry, I bring to the office what I bring to the office, and no expectation beyond that.
こんなって言っても金自体はそんなに大きくなかったんだよ。
食べ盛り。
こんなって言っても、いや、うちは食べ盛りの子が2人もいるし、こんなって言っても金自体はそんなに大きくなかったんだよ。
私なんかね、昨日は一人わびしく残り物の肉じゃがよ。
筧先生は昨日何食べた
？That's the title of the show.
昨日
And then go into the. That's clever. That's actually kind of clever. Yeah, they're not gonna. Let's skip over that. 昨日何食べた？ Okay.
昨日は小松菜とネギとわかめと油揚げの味噌汁と。
Okay. 小松菜。上とネギと油ない。Spinach. Okay. 小松菜とネギとわかめ。油揚げの味噌汁と。Wow, that was very detailed.
昨日は小松菜とネギとわかめと油揚げの味噌汁と長芋と明太子を2杯酢であえて。
長芋。Yeah. This would be better with photos though.
わさびと海苔を。長芋と明太子を2杯。
明太子。Okay. That's right. Okay. That's from the previous series as well.
酢であえて。長芋と明太子を2杯酢であえて。わさびと海苔を乗っけたやつと。鶏手羽先と大根をわさびと海苔を乗っけたやつと。鶏手羽先と大根を甘辛く煮たのとブロッコリーのおかかえ。
Tebasaki. Niwatori, tori tebasaki or niwatori? Let me hear that again.
鶏手羽先と大根は
Tori tebasaki, so chicken wings. Daikon, okay. Amakuraku. Amakarai.
鶏手羽先と大根を甘辛く煮たのとブロッコリーのおかかえ。
おかかか。dry bonito, maybe.
鶏手羽先と大根を甘辛く煮たのとブロッコリーのおかかえ。それと3分の1は発芽玄米の白い飯を家で食べました。
Jesus. 3分の1, 1/3 of it was sprouted brown rice. 発芽玄米の白い飯。Oh, okay. So, okay. Sprouted brown rice.
それと3分の1は発芽玄米の白い飯を家で食べました。じゃあお先に。お疲れ様でした。失礼します。
白い。白い。That was cute.
ねえ、しのさん。筧先生っていつもいそいそ6時に帰っていくわよね。彼女さんがいるって聞いたんだけど、熱々なのね。
王先生、そういう時はラブラブって言うんですよ。でも献立の詳細さからすると。
献立、料理の種類、cook、メニュー。献立。Yeah, it says right there, menu. 献立 and that's komakai, very detailed menu. 詳細、詳しく。献立の詳細さ、カラス。からすると詳細さからすると、
でも献立の詳細さからするとご飯作ってるの絶対筧先生の方だと思います。
筧先生って料理できんの？
ああ、でもいや、筧先生って何回や。
なんで料理できる男ってポイント高いんじゃないの
？45歳ですよ。芸能人でもない45歳の男が見た目で独身なのははっきり言って気持ち悪いです。料理もきっとすっごいお金をかけて作ってるんですよ。高級スーパーでこだわりの食材とか調味料。
そう、はい、OK。こだわり。
高級スーパーでこだわりの食材とか調味料カート買いして。
So she's saying like he's like a, you know, basically a spoiled rich. Maybe he basically treats himself. Maybe high class restaurant. I like that. And then all of a sudden you get Konben. And here he is like worrying about the price of the ingredients.
418円。何が激安だ。ゴンベンのつゆの元の底値は299円だ。
何が激安だ。ゴンベンのつゆも定食。The lowest price. Okay, so ゴンベン。No, that's not it. ゴンベン。
騙されないぞ俺は。 ゴンベンのつゆの元の底値は299円だ。騙されないぞ俺は。やはり予定通りこの店ではタイムサービスの低脂肪乳
タイムセール。低脂肪、そう、low fat milk。低脂肪に。
タイムサービスの低脂肪乳1本98円を2本買って終了だ。
中村屋。Am I missing?
舞茸1
Okay, so that's what happened.
パック78円。
Maitake. Whatever that's supposed to be. Type of mushrooms. All right. Again, this is where I'll say if you're studying this in Anki, make sure to utilize especially if you use the Migaku plugin. That look up the photos, like including the answer of the photo. Don't just go off the name. It is good to see the pictures, especially especially with Japanese, because they got very specific names for the foods. And I'm not a cook, so I was like, it took me a while to even figure out a few of these. I don't even know enough.
カブ1束100円。
Kabu. Yeah, roots. Okay, kabu.
カブ1束100円。
Totaba.
ごぼうも100円か。
Gobo. Okay, that's a root.
やっぱり野菜は中村屋が間違いないな。
Nakamura, yeah. Okay.
な
Cheaper milk.
こっちの方が6円安い。ここ低脂肪乳の特売って毎週木曜でしたよね。ここ低脂肪乳の特売って毎週木曜でしたよね。
Yaridori, Nico. Okay, wait, sorry. Tatengo. Oh, okay. Meeting price, I'm assuming. Ikagi.
見落とした。
He missed it. Okay. Pushed it. I'm kind of tempted to, because part of the story here is like what's happening in the background, like what's on the sign. So I mean, I know it's a let's read, but in this one I do have to look at the video sometimes. Okay.
あと3分遅かったら炊飯スタートしてたな。 今日はごぼうと舞茸で炊き込みご飯にしよう。
Gobo to maitake. So the root, gobo is the root, right? Make sure. Burdock root. Maitake. That was the mushrooms. Gobo, maitake. Takikomi. Oh, takikomi. Takikomi. Gohan.
今日はごぼうと舞茸で炊き込みご飯にしよう。
Yes, I got a rice cooker. It works very well, very well. I don't know how to do a lot of the recipes in it though. I can make the rice, that's about it.
お玉で水を2杯。
Where are we at? お玉で水。
すくって捨て。昆布を一切れ。
Okay, that's nori. Or have the kombu. Yeah, right there. Kelp. There we go. Kombu.
お玉で水を2杯。すくって捨て。昆布を一切れ。
So I wonder, was he like sitting the rice in there, letting the rice soak in the water for a while, but he didn't heat it up. So he's doing
酒と醤油で薄めに味付け。その中に1合につき1切れ。
月人。
塩鮭をそのまま放り込んで。
塩鮭。Is that salmon? Salted salmon? 塩鮭。It looks like, yeah, I mean, it's obviously salmon in the photo. 塩鮭。
その中に1合につき1切れ。塩鮭をそのまま放り込んで、買ってきたごぼうをささがきにして入れる。
ささがき。野菜を切りよ。Okay, so that's a form of how to cutting up the fruit. Slicing away in thin bits. ささがき。ささがきにして入れる。
その中に買ってきたごぼうをささがきにして入れる。ごぼうのアクは
ごぼうのアク。
ポリフェノールで旨味の元だから
ポリフェニン？ポリフェネル？ポリフェノ。ポリフェノでごぼうのアクは
ごぼうのアクはポリフェノールで旨味の元だから水にさらさない。
Okay.
さらにその上に舞茸をほぐして入れる。
ほぐして break apart, okay? もつれてほぐして入れる。
さらにその上に舞茸をほぐして入れる。
舞茸。Alright, so he adds some mushroom to the pot, turns it all on. I don't know how long.
汁物は何にするか。豚汁は炊き込みご飯とごぼうがかぶるから。
豚汁。Pork soup. 豚汁。味噌スープ。
豚汁は炊き込みご飯とごぼうがかぶるから豚肉。
ごぼうが油。Seems like that's a full phrase. ごぼう。No.
とカブとカブの葉で味噌汁にするか。豚肉とカブとカブの葉で味噌汁にするか。
カブの葉で。 Alright. So,
昨日の残りの小松菜と厚揚げで2、
昨日のこれの小松菜と厚揚げ、厚揚げ。Okay, that's right. 厚揚げ。
昨日の残りの小松菜と厚揚げで煮浸しを作ろう。
煮浸しを作ろう。
昨日の残りの小松菜と厚揚げで煮浸しを作ろう。
Okay, so there's the厚揚げ。So this is a lot better than Shingen no Shokudo, because during that it shows him cooking, but he's not describing anything. So you're only just seeing what he's doing. Maybe at the end, then they describe the point on how to make whatever he's cooking better, make it better, like he's demonstrating. But again, there's no description here. You're seeing him describe what's happening. So adds was that ponzu or shoyu? That was shoyu. That's okay.
作り置きの大根とホタテ。
Tsukurioki. Cook ahead of time. Make ahead of time. Prepare in advance. Tsukurioki no dai.
ホタテのナマスがまだあるから。
ホタテのナマスが。ホタテ。ナマス。Okay. ホタテのナマスが。
作り置きの大根とホタテのナマスがまだあるから、あともう一品。卵を使い切りたい。
Used all of the eggs. Okay.
よし、卵とタケノコの千切りとザーサイを中華風に炒めるか。
Okay. 卵とタケノコ。Bamboo shoot, takenoko. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I got that. Okay, okay. Tamago to takenoko no tekiri zasai. Szechuan sauce. So Szechuan. Zasai. Zasai. Chuka.
よし、卵とタケノコの千切りとザーサイを中華風に炒めるか。
中華風に。中華風に。
これで決まりだな。
Okay, there's the eggs. Scramble it with the chopsticks, of course. Cooking chopsticks. That's the bamboo shoots. Takenoko. Takenoko. Tamago. Takenoko. Cutting into fine. I can't do that. Okay, that's olive oil, right? I assume. So is he doing scrambling? Yeah, okay, so he's doing scrambling. Alright. And that looks. See, I would have thought that was garlic and onions. But he also said like it was the takenoko. Did he say that? Did he say the ingredients there? Daikon to hotate namasu ga. Okay. Also, it's probably those right there you cut up as well. Tsukaikiritai. I thought that means to use up. Yeah, it is to use up. Adding a little oil. There's the bamboo shoots. Takenoko. There's the eggs again. So he's saying this is like a Chinese feel to it. Chukafu. Chukafu. Chukafu ni.
あとは炊き込みご飯を待つだけだ。
炊き込み。
厄介な案件を一つきれいに落着させたぐらいの充実感だな。
厄介な。It's difficult, right? I mean, there's yakai right there, that one. I think he's mean, yeah, mendo. Mendo de tema o kakaru koto. Yeah. Yakai anken. Mondai to natte iru. Yakai anken to hitotsu kirei ni. Rakuchaku. So, ochitsuite, but I guess that's another way of saying ochitsuite. Rakuchaku. Rakuchaku sasita. 充実感だな。
厄介な案件を一つきれいに落着させたぐらいの充実感だな。こんな充実感を一日に一回必ず味わえるなんて夕飯作りってのは偉大だ。そしてこの満足感を持続させたまま一日を終えられるかは
sense of fulfillment, satisfaction, sorry. そしてこの満足感。
一日を終えられるか。そしてこの満足感を持続させたまま
持続状態。持続させているな。
そしてこの満足感を持続させたまま一日を終えられるかは。
ただいま。
Alright, so that's Yabuki Kenji.
あー、なんか炊き込みご飯っぽい匂いがする。
お前またコンビニで無駄なもん買ったのか。なんだアイスか。
あ、ハーゲンダッツ。
ハーゲンダッツ。
コンビニで買ったのか。
うん。
ハーゲンダッツは中村屋で金曜日になれば2割引きで買えるんだ。なんでコンビニで成果で買うんだよ。
2 for 1. 2割引き Let me make sure that 20%. Oh, sorry. 2割. God damn it. 2割引き。
なんで金曜日になれば2割引きで買えるんだ。なんでコンビニで成果で買うんだよ。
成果。
なんでコンビニで成果で買うんだよ。
いや、
10円20円の価値を考えてくれっていつも言ってるだろ。朝と晩の食費を月2万5,000円に抑えるのが俺の最重要課題なんだぞ。
Okay. So $250 is it, or is there allowance for breakfast and dinner? Wow, for per month. 最重要課題。Let's see. 最重要課題。Objective. Subject. 最重要課題。
なんか俺の最重要課題なんだぞ。高っ。
いいよ、自分で払うから。
いいよ、貸せ。お前は貯金しろ。
Yeah, my wife's the one who saves all the receipts. I don't save the receipts. And I don't really look at the prices all that much, which, yeah, it's probably a good idea to look for sales. I just buy at the convenience store, so that's not a good idea if you want to save money. You can actually get pretty good sales if you get it at the right time or know the right days to do it like he's doing. And he can plan his menus around that as well by knowing, what he can buy and what days.
だって中村屋には売ってないやつなんだよ。シロさんもこの前食べたいって。ごめん。
もう分かったよ。手洗ってこい。飯にするぞ。
はい。
いただきます。
All right. So again, yeah, miso shiro. There's the take, what do they call it? Take. Takikomi. There we go.
シロさんってさ、
シロさんってさ、
なんつうか
なんすか。
お金好きだよね。
好きなの。I don't think so.
この部屋だって家賃10万ポッキリでしょ。
That's actually a pretty decent price. You probably get it. I assume since that's near Tokyo.
弁護士ってじゃんじゃん稼げる仕事なんじゃないの？
Jan, quite a bit. A lot. Rapidly, also. I think rapidly. Jan's considered shigo.
弁護士ってじゃんじゃん稼げる仕事なんじゃないの？
そりゃ大手の紹介事務所ならじゃんじゃん稼げるけど、
障害事務所。大手の障害事務所ならじゃんじゃん。
そりゃ大手の紹介事務所ならじゃんじゃん稼げるけど、
Make sure, but that's a manufacturing, right? 大手。Yeah, leading company. 障害事務所。
そりゃ大手の紹介事務所ならじゃんじゃん稼げるけど、死ぬほど働かされるなんて俺嫌だよ。それならそこそこの収入で人間らしい暮らしをする方がずっといい。
シロさんらしい。
それに金が好きで何が悪い。子供に面倒を見てもらうなんて将来のない俺が。最後頼りになるのは金だけだろ。
Let's see if that's a phrase itself. No. 面倒を見てる。Yeah. I know that's like, the kids having to take care of their parents.
最後頼りになる。子供に面倒を見てもらうなんて将来のない俺が最後頼りになるのは金だけだろ。
そうだね。
お前そんな顔で飯食うなよ。
ああ、
うまいだろ。甘辛酸っぱいのバランスも取れてて一品の味もいい。
美味しい。この鮭ちゃんと食べやすいようにほぐしてくれてるんでしょ。ごまも
Okay.
アクセントになってていい。ちゃんと食べやすいようにほぐしてくれてるんでしょ。ごまもアクセントになってていい。バランスとか全然わかんないけど、この炊き込みご飯すっごい美味しい。おかわり。
ダメだ、超える。
Wait a minute. That's like for his digestion? 動物にが become fat. Futoru. That's futoru. No, wait, he didn't say that. He said koeru. Yeah, so let's see. Koe. Let's see if they got koeru. There we go. Koeru. It's not that one. That one. So it is grow fat. Koeru. All right. Did I misunderstand that kanji? Yeah, I thought it was that fertilizer, but it also means to get fat. Okay. Koeru.
ダメだ、超える。
Koeru.
ヒゲクマ系になるのは50を超えてからにしろ。
Higekuma. Bearded Higekuma. Bearded bear?
ヒゲクマ系になるのは50を超えてからにしろ。
See if Kumake. Higekuma.
シロさん。
ああもう何してんの何してんだよもう
じゃあこれ全部いい？
ダメだ
So he does kind of remind me of my wife, like how she acts, you know, because she does all the cooking. So yeah, she kind of stresses about how best to eat.
変わんないだろうが
美味しいんだからしょうがないじゃない。
So you can tell it's a very sweet comedy. It's very cute. And okay, doing the leftovers. Okay, for later.
だからねお母さん
Let's see something real quick. This is another 4. So we're like halfway through it, and we're already at the 55-minute mark. Just a heads up. Like I said, I knew this was going to take a while. So I may now I know the first video is going to take the longest. I'm assuming, but yeah.
何度も言ってるけどそれもまた俺とは違う人たちなんだようんそうそう
それでね、お母さんその人たちのあれ
Okay, what was that? Hisae. See if that's. Yeah, again, it's not even the first word to give up, you know. Hisae. それでね。
なんて言ったかしら。そう、オフ会
Meeting on an off day? Offline, get. Off.
それにも、そう、オフ会それにも参加してみたのよ。
そんなの行かなくていいよ
あら、だって、すごく勉強になったわよ、その集まり。それでね、お母さんいろいろと分かったのよ。シロさん、あなた職場の方たちにきちんとカミングアウトしてるんでしょうね。自分が同性愛者だってこと。
Yeah. So his company people at his company don't know that he's gay, but you know, his mom's just trying to talk him into it. Like, stop. Yeah.
してませんよ仕事をする上で同性愛者だなんて言う必要ないだろ
どうしてきちんと言いなさい。同性愛者なのはちっとも恥ずかしいことじゃないのよ。
It's pretty accepted in Japanese society from what I've noticed.
もしもしもしもし、シロさん、聞いてるの？
Whereas, again, not too long ago, it was like, I mean, not even less than a decade ago, it was still illegal in the military. Like, you would get kicked out of the military for it, even though there was like for 20 years, about 20 or so years, where it was the don't ask, don't tell. But even then, that was still being, being used against him for getting kicked out. But yeah, it's like finally it just finally changed, and like no one cared really, except for those that apparently shouldn't even be in the military anyway. And it didn't seem like most people in the military, at least in where I worked at, like it didn't matter. So in fact, it probably wouldn't have mattered if they did it 10 years or 20 years prior, even though there were bigots that were probably in the military. Usually through service, because you get a cosmopolitan view, especially in the Navy and Marine Corps, where there are only very few bases of basic training, so everyone collects together into one area. So that one gives you a better, you get a better, broader worldview, or at least of the country, because again, people from all across the country go into one place there. And then for training, then it's mixed in. So it's not like in the Army where you might all come from a very similar area to that one base. and then probably stay at that base for a long time. Whereas Marine Corps and definitely Navy, you kind of will spread out, mingle with different groups of people, and then become more accepting. Basically, even though it seems like military you think of as being conservative, really, as far as you get kind of more socially liberal. Socially liberal. You might be conservative in a more financial standpoint. But yeah, so I'm saying that. So I don't think, at least with the Marine Corps and the Navy, like when that policy changed, it was pretty accepted. I mean, now, again, I can't say the same for the Army and Air Force because again, I never worked in the Army or Air Force, so there's nothing I can add to that. I can only, yeah. Now I'm not saying like there are bigots in the military, even in the Army and Navy, in the Marine Corps and Navy, but it's just that they won't be accepting if someone says it. The words is like they're going to get a funny look at the minimum, and then someone's going to say something to someone, and then stuff's going to get noticed, and maybe that person, if these are very strong held beliefs that they're not willing to change, they can get shown the door.
人間には一人一人違った個性があって、それは素晴らしいことなの。だからね、四郎さん。
はいはい、分かってます。そろそろ切るよ、明日早いから。じゃあお母さんおやすみ。
Yeah, so Kenji's the more emotional.
いかがですか？
He's a hairdresser also, but he's very. You can definitely tell what he's thinking based or feeling based on the way he acts. Let's see, what was her again? Sengoku.
後ろのここちょっと地味じゃない？ほら私顔が派手だからさ。
Shikao, private face.
じゃあ
ほら私顔が派手だからさ。
じゃあこの辺もう少し強めに巻いて華やかにしてみましょうか。
ごめんね。
この辺もう少し強めに巻いて華やかにしてみましょうか。
ごめんね、最後の最後にもうずっと言い出せなくって。ほら私気が弱いから。
いえいえ、言ってもらってよかったですよ。ご親戚の結婚式でしょ。晴れの日に髪型気に入らないと気分悪いじゃないですか。
晴れの日、晴れの日。
晴れの日に髪型気に入らないと気分悪いじゃないですか。お時間まだ大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫大丈夫。
ケンちゃんでさ、ああいう時の優しい顔に嘘がないんだよね。
私だったらムッとしちゃいますけどね。
I assume that means he's so there. Yeah, he's got it on his face, and he's not faking it. So, like I was mentioning earlier.
毎回仕上がり難癖つけて。やり直させるんだ。
Wait a minute. 難癖. Cue your habits, right? Weak points. 難癖. So a weak or a bad habit, a flaw, a critical flaw. 難癖つけて。
やり直させるんだ。戦国さん、毎回仕上がり難癖つけてやり直させるんだ。ケンちゃん、本当話しやすくて好き。
Definitely flirting with him.
ねえ、今度ちょっと外で会わない？
あ、すいません。僕ゲイなんですよ。言ってなかったですかね。
え、そうなの？
それで今彼氏と住んでるんですけど、その彼氏がもう超かっこよくて、頼りがいがあって、料理もすっごく上手で、お仕事は弁護士さんなんですけどね。
あ、そう
He definitely wants to brag about his boyfriend.
なんだ。
あ、でも僕の方が男なんですよ。
は？
あなたいいかもね。
戦国さんを黙らせちゃいましたよ。
ケンちゃんのあのキャラすごいわ。
あんな非常識な女に大事な息子を預けられるわけないでしょう。夜中の2時ですよ。
誠に申し訳ありません。今田さんも二度としないと約束しておられますので、どうかお許しください。
大輝は今の妻に懐いてる。混乱させたくないんですよ。
Actually becoming, he said that a little differently, right?
混乱。大輝は今の妻に懐いてる。
懐いてる。There we are. Nare itashimo. So being used to being in. Okay. Yeah. Becoming familiar with. There we go. Emotionally attached. 懐いてる。
大輝は今の妻に懐いてる。
How do you say that name? Nishina. I'm actually not sure about that. Forgot to check.
混乱させたくないんですよ。
ですが西名さん。
Wait, here we go.
あなたですが西名さん。
Nishina. Yeah, it is Nishina-san.
あなたは今田さんが精神的な問題で入院している間に一方的に席を抜いてしまわれた。一方的に席を抜いてしまわれた。また今の奥様とはその前から交際なさっていますよね。
That actually makes him look like an asshole because he took her off the family registry right there. Make sure that's a full phrase. Yeah, so it's not. But yeah, that's kind of an asshole maneuver. But kind of expected also because if she was having a mental breakdown, it could be kind of dangerous.
それでもあなたを責めるつもりはないと今田さんはおっしゃっています。
And it is pretty bad in Japanese society, from my understanding. I haven't dealt with it personally. Is that custody is usually almost 100%. Like there's no visitation rights. It seems like it's either one parent gets it or the other, but there's no sharing of visitation rights. From my understanding, unless one of the parents agrees to it. And there's almost very low. This has run into some major problems as well when you deal with marriages where the wife is, or the spouse is, one of the spouses from Japan, the other spouse is from the U.S. And the one from Japan keeps the child in Japan. Then there's no, this becomes a problem between where the countries can have issues trying to, because again, this is like, parental rights have to be kind of go beyond borders. Whereas you got a country to say, well, no, we only care about the rights of the one parent that happens to be a citizen. That can cause problems.
ただ大輝くんと
大輝は合わせません。
合わせてほしいとはお願いしていません。遠くから見るだけでいいから許してほしいとお願いしているんです。実の母親がここまで譲歩しているんです。
譲歩。Oh, that's the negotiator again, right? No. Compromise, 譲歩。ここまで譲歩している。
実の母親がここまで譲歩しているんです。
いや、ダメだ。こっちが目を離した隙に大輝を誘拐されでもしたら。
It's a worry, yeah.
あの女はそういうこともしかねない。
そんなことは絶対にさせません。どうかお願いします。
嫌ですね。絶対なんてどうして言い切れるんですか？
絶対なんて言い切れる。Speaking to the very end. Okay, 自信がきついとはっきり言う。Basically, that's the end of the subject. I'm finished talking. Declare a certain. Okay. 言い切れるんですか？
絶対なんてどうして言い切れるんですか？毎月あなたがつきっきりで成功を見張ってくれるとも言う。
つきっきり。
成功を毎月あなたがつきっきりで成功を見張ってくれるとも言うなら別ですけど、そんなことできないでしょ？
できますよ。
え？
Okay. He basically supervises her. Supervises her visitation.
月に一度私が聖子さんに付き添えばよろしいんですね。わかりました。
Hope that's what's in his butt. Yeah.
ああ、なんで俺はあんなことを。貴重な休みがこれから毎月。
貴重な休み。
ああ、貴重な休みがこれから毎月。ああ。
シロさんどうしたの？遅かったの？ああ、もつを持つよ。
ああ、いい。サラダ油と米だって重いんだよ。美容師は手が命だろ。省エネでもあったらどうすんだよ。
It is so fucking funny. No, it just reminds like my wife. Like she thinks like any bag is too heavy for me. Right? I'm like, I can fucking deadlift, 180, almost 200 kilograms, and she's acting like this little 5-kilo bag or something is like way too heavy for me. It's like she's got to carry it for me or something. 95 kilos, like 1-2 kilos. I just think it's funny as hell when she, she does that all the time. It's like, okay, no, I'll carry it. And I guess it's a societal thing. Like if the man is carrying all the groceries in bags for the woman, I guess it's I forgot the term, but it's kind of like a pack mule or whatnot. It's more of a derogatory term, I assume, or it's like there's no problem helping carrying stuff. I just don't see the big deal of that, especially because obviously I'm like more than twice her weight. Definitely can. And I'm strength training. Again, I do strength training, so again that's carrying stuff is not going to be a problem. But she acts like I'm this frail little kid at times when it comes to heavy bags. And again, same thing as like how he acts toward Kenji with at the dinner table in this episode. Again, it's just like, yeah, that's my wife. So again, that's why I like the movie, this series also. So as a couple, I like their dynamics. One's more reserved, the other's more free with his emotions, letting other people know what he's thinking and feeling.
シロさんかっこいい。もう惚れ直しちゃう。
Where are we at? 惚れ直した。 Okay, let's make sure. Oh, okay.
シロさんかっこいい。もう惚れ直しちゃう。なんか偶然会えちゃうとか幸せ。そうだ、この足でちょっと桜見に行かない？
桜？
商店街出たところに遊歩道があるの。今すっごい綺麗に咲いてんの。
Oh, yeah, you hold on. Public wall. Okay.
この間歩ってて、シロさんと商店街出たところに遊歩道があるの。今すっごい綺麗に咲いてんの。この間歩ってて、シロさんと見たいなって。あ、やだ、ケンちゃん。さん。今お帰りですか？
そう。
Make sure about it. Sin.
よかった。変わるまで綺麗に残ってる。
みんなにすごい綺麗って褒められちゃったね。
それ良かったですね。旦那さんですか？
そうそうそうそうそう、いつもお世話になってる美容師さんのケンちゃん、今日もねセットしてもらったの。
あ、どうも。奥さんにはよく来ていただいてて、綺麗な奥さんでご自慢でしょ。
いえいえ、そんなあれじゃありませんから。
あ、ねえねえケンちゃん、この人が例の彼氏さん。弁護士でかっこいいけど実は女役だって。ねえねえ、すっごいお似合いじゃないねえ。かっこいいもんだって本当言って。いいよね。すっごくいいよ。
I like the look. Okay. Now, to be honest, the first time I watched it, so I wasn't really paying attention, like in the detail, like I'm doing now, and also the other episodes. But it always seems like he was always in an angry mood in the scenes where they're interacting with each other. In this first episode, it made me think like why are they even together? It seems like he's unhappy or something. But then later on, you realize no, he's happy. He's just he was just disappointed on a couple of things. You know, the guy purchasing something when he could have bought it on sale, and then the other is like telling about his personal life to customers. He just didn't like that. He doesn't like that. All right, and so that part, and again, you can see in later episodes, like again, he's smiling at him. You can tell there's genuine emotions for each other. So.
なんで客にまで言うんだよ。何考えてんだ。店の同僚にお前がカムアウトすることと俺のことを人にベラベラ喋ることは全然別だ。店の同僚にお前がカムアウトすることと俺のことを人にベラベラ喋ることは全然別だ。しかも客にまで話すとかありえない。俺はお前と違って職場にそういうこと言ってないし、知らない人間に俺がゲイだって分かられんのも嫌なんだよ。大体女役って。
Yeah, he didn't like that.
俺は立ち猫で言ったら猫ってくれて。
立ち猫。No, it's a standing up cat. What is that supposed to be? Tachineko. It's not saying it. Whatever. Tachineko.
俺は立ち猫で言ったら猫ってくれて。とにかく俺のスタンスを理解して行動できないならお前この部屋から出てけ。俺本気だからな。
ごめん。
Now this part,
ごめん。
I like his justification here.
でもうちの店の店長はお客さんに自分の奥さんや子供の話をするよ。なんで俺だけ自分と一緒に住んでる人の話を誰にもしちゃいけないの。
さあ夕飯作ろう。今日はタケノコの水煮と菜の花で飯試し。
ずるい。
Boiling with no seasoning. 水煮と。Takenoko no mizuri to. And Dr. Malo saying for like making games, watching. Yeah. All right, Dr. Malo, enjoy the day. Yeah, it's like yeah, even if you don't make games, it's fun. I do think the studying is going to be important because again, I've been doing a lot of these let's reads, but I feel like my gains go faster if I do studying as well with the watching. Now, again, it doesn't mean I have to do sentence mind or anything, but I should keep trying to push my active knowledge of Japanese higher and higher. That'll again mesh well with this active immersion that I'm doing with the language.
ごまかした。
ニンニクと玉ねぎにどっさり乗ってるのこれぐらい大好き。
どっさり。OK。ニンニクと玉ねぎがどっさり。
これぐらい。ニンニクと玉ねぎにどっさり乗ってるのこれぐらい大好き。
接客業だから。
接客業。What's this? 接客業。
休み接客業だから休みの前の日ぐらいしか思いっきり食えないだろ。
俺が明日休みだから。幸せ。煮物とカツオのたたき最高。
カツオのたたき。カツオたたきさ。
煮物とカツオのたたき最高。
Make sure about fried food, right? 煮物。Yeah, grilled, cooked.
煮物とカツオのたたき最高。
そっかよかった。菜の花も食えよ。
食べる。春が来た。
Make sure about that again. 菜の花。油菜。Rapeseed flowers. Broad expanse. Okay. It's an unusual name. 春が来た。Okay. Typing in all that. I'll just skip forward.
お
何どうしたの？
今月の食費17,368円。予算の25,000円より8,000近く浮いた。
本当？やったー。じゃあその8,000円でどっかに美味しいもの食べに行こう。
何言ってんだよ。貯金だよ貯金。
なんだよ、貯金。
お前な、そんなんだからその年でろくに蓄えもないんだぞ。
6に。蓄える。蓄えもないんだぞ。6に。蓄えもないんだ。
お前な、そんなんだからその年でろくに蓄えもないんだぞ。43だぞ。少しは考えろ。いくら美容師で手に職があるからっていつま
手に職。
いつまでもいくら美容師で手に職があるからっていつまでも働けるわけじゃない。
はい。まためんどくさいの始まった。
めんどくさい。
シロさん、この間買ったハーゲンダッツ食べよう。定価で買っても食費余ったんだし、堂々と食べてもいいでしょ。
That's the actual price again. So 定価and 定価で。
定価で買っても食費余ったんだし、堂々と食べてもいいでしょ。
バカ、お前今からあんなもん食べたら明日にも腹出るぞ。
ああ、いい。じゃあ半分こしよう。
俺は食べない。
おいしい。
これ297キロカロリーもあんのか。明日
They're each eating one, or are they each eating half? I don't know.
時あるか。
もうシロさん無神経。せっかくおいしいの食べてんのに。
シロさん無神経。
結構ちゃんとマカダミアンナッツの味するな。
I like the one with macadamia nuts, yes.
やっぱうまいなこれ。値段の価値あるな。
だから言ってるじゃん、たまには贅沢しようって。
ダメだ。金も体型維持も一瞬の気の緩みが破綻を招く。
Okay, Kanimo, Taike. Let's see what this is. Iji. Wait, it's Taike Iji. Taike Iji. Kanimo, Taike Iji mo Ishun no ki. One instance. Yurumi. It should be loosen up. Hatan. I assume that means locked up or destroyed. Kimono nado ya yabura ho. Okay, so being destruction or destroyed. Breakdown failure. Hatan. Yurumi ga hatan mo maneku. Ishun no ki. Ki no yurumi. Relaxing. Okay, ki no yurumi. Ishun no ki no yurumi ga hatan mo maneku. Okay.
一瞬の気の金も体型維持も一瞬の気の緩みが破綻を招く。
破綻ってもうシロさん、人生の喜びってのはさ、ほころびから生まれたりするもんなんだよ。
ほころび。ほころびか。
ほころびから生まれたりするもんなんだよ。恋人との出会いもひょんなことからみたいなの多いじゃん。
ひょんなこと。思いがけない。だ的な unexpected strange。ひょんなことから。
ひょんなことからみたいなの多いじゃん。
そのひょんなことのひょんって何なんだ。
ひょん？ひょんはほら例えばさ、病院で入院してる時にさ、インターンの先生が見舞いに来てさ、診断されてそのまま恋に落ちて私たち付き合っちゃいましたとかそういうのが
何言ってんの。
え？
違うよ。
何？
じゃあ俺が言ってんの。何言ってんの。
何言ってんの。違う。ひょんの例え。
なんでそうやって妄想広げちゃうの。
Let's see if that's full phrase. No.
違う。ひょん。なんでそうやって妄想広げちゃうの。違う。ひょんなのひょんって何ですかって言ってんの。
ひょんなのひょんって何ですか。
ひょん？
うん。ひょんの意味は何ですかって言って。
ああ。
ひょんって言ったらもうひょんじゃないの。ひょん。おひょん？違うの。
See there, that was the where they were again. That now they or that was the cute couple that you were expecting. Nuts. We'll stop it there. So let's skip this part. I tell you what, let me. I hate when they do that. Okay, so let's go back here.
いやですから私
って言ったらもうひょんじゃないの。ひょん。おひょん？違うの。
All right, I wanna watch the credits. Okay.
だってシロさん、女の人とも付き合ってたでしょ。
この人ゲイなんだって。
え？そんなに気になるなら行ってみてこいよ。悪いことしたって反省してる。だからもう俺は。
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of cute. Actually, yeah, let's do it right there. Okay. So right now it's like 1:30. I didn't expect it to take this long, but I knew it was, like I said, the dialogue itself is like 22 minutes of dialogue if you like take out all the waiting. But so there's not as much downtime or time in between discussions. There's a little bit, but for the most part, if it is, he's talking. I skipped over a little bit. This took me longer because I was looking up a lot of words. Part of the words we're looking at was because of the legal profession. A lot of it was the cooking. The cooking vocabulary is, again, kind of new to me. I'm not that well versed in cooking vocabulary, cooking phrases. And then some other things as well. But like when he was talking to the mother, didn't have to worry about as much. A little bit of conversation with the customer, you know, dealing with our hairstyle, and then later on meeting them at the show Tengai. Let me take it off of here. So I'm assuming the later episodes, like most other shows, usually the first 1 or 2 episodes take the longest when you're doing these Let's Reads, because again, it's got new names. That's part of it. The jobs, the vocabulary dealing with the jobs and whatnot. Since it's slice of life, the stuff at the home won't be as difficult. Although of course this is a cooking related show, so there's that dialogue is going to be the difficult part. But again, slice of life, then that's going to be kind of important because it's dealing with stuff you're going to run into if you do live in Japan. I don't know if it's necessary for those that are learning Japanese outside of Japan to enjoy Japanese media. But you know what? It still is a part of the language, so it helps to learn. Like, you can always say, like, why do I need to learn people's names? Well, you don't have to learn people's names, but it's good to know the names of the characters in the stories you're reading. So that makes sense, right? And if they're mentioning of celebrities in the material that you're reading, then it's good to know the celebrity's name. Okay, that makes sense. Do you need to know the names of prefectures? Well, not really, unless it's a prefecture the story is set in. If you're reading modern Japanese stories, then yeah, that's going to be the case. Same with the cities and even area. Like I said, I might be able to name the 5 boroughs in New York, but not really. I mean, there's Bronx and Queens. I think after that, I kind of draw a blank. I know there's supposedly 5 boroughs. I just couldn't tell you what they are or where they are at. I can point to them on a map. I can point to obviously Manhattan Island, but for the most part, I can't. But I could probably show you the states. Point to a place I might, Wyoming and Colorado. Since they both look very similar, it's is it Colorado or Wyoming, or is it Wyoming, Colorado? Not Wyoming. Was that? Yeah, Wyoming. Montana, somewhere up there. Missouri. But again, it's so knowing areas around Japan, that can be useful. Does it mean you need to? But the reason why I'm saying this, I've heard some complaints because of the Tango decks, like Tango N4, it lists, I think it's either N4 or N3, but they're listing the Japanese prefectures. So in one Tango book, they're listing the other countries. In most of the other countries' names they're fairly simple to understand. I mean, you wouldn't be able to spontaneously say it correctly, most likely. But when you hear it in the kana version of it, the loanword version of it, you understand what it is. But it's still good to know it, I would think, because again, other countries get mentioned in Japanese media, in entertainment. So it's good that's a good word. Those are good words to learn. It just may feel boring when you have to learn it as a group. Same thing happens with counters. When you learn a counter, you just don't want to learn the counter and say, oh, you're not magically applying it. You have to learn the specific numerals using that counter, especially when it's a variant on how it is used in Japanese, because Japanese grow up hearing it, so to them it's nothing, but you kind of have to treat each one like it's its own word, even though it's you just think, oh, it's a number and a counter, but when you put them together, it has a specific pronunciation, and you kind of have to get used to it, because again, counters are a very unusual thing. It's a little different in English. We might say a slice, is it a cut of pizza? No. Is it a cut of pork? That might make sense. A slice, a leg of lamb, a pack, a bag of, a can of, a bottle of. For us, we don't have counters, but we do have containers or forms of items, and those are technically like counters. So if you got something that can't be counted, water, then we put water in something. Now, is it a bowl of water, a cup of water, a bottle of water, or a popcorn, which isn't really counted, even though you can count individual pieces, but it's it is popcorn. And then is it a bowl of popcorn or a bag of popcorn? Those are counters. So, and similar thing in Japanese is that with Japanese, the pronunciation of counter changes based on how many of the items you have. That's just why you would then learn that. But when people are learning Japanese, they do complain about some stuff that's you could probably get their point, but it's well, here's why you're not being reasonable, because again, one, the complication exists in English as well. So, when we say the different ways we pronounce numbers. Why is it ichi, 1, and then hitoto here? Well, why is it the number 1? Let's say the character 1. How are the different ways you can pronounce? Is it pronounced FIR? Because you see the 1 in the ST, and we say that's first. So that character 1, that character, is it pronounced fur? No. But we see the 1 in ST, okay, it's read first. It's read as first. We're not saying pronounce the character as first. It's just read that way. Is it pronounced 1? But in 100, it's pronounced 100. You know, you might hear 100, but it is 100 as well. So it's like, oh, it has no pronunciation at all, you know, in some cases. So I have first, 1, trying to think of some other examples. But it helps when you're doing the learning. Like, don't try to say I don't need to worry about that. Careful about that type of mindset. Like, oh, I don't have to worry about this. You know, you're like prejudging what you need to know in the language. It's, you know, it's, again, it was in the basic stuff. You might, it's probably was there. Probably means that it's worthwhile learning. Okay, we're not saying like you got to memorize how to say all the countries in Japanese, but when you hear it in a country's name in Japanese, you should be able to understand what it means. Does that make sense? So that, again, make sure you have passive knowledge of the material. That's what we're trying to encourage, especially at the N5, N4 levels, these lower levels, is like increase your passive knowledge, so that then when it gets to the time when you need to speak out and you can say these words in Japanese, then your active knowledge of those vocabulary is stronger. But your passive's got to be so much bigger, because again, you're expecting at an adult level 22,000 to 40,000 vocabulary words to know passively. Actively, you probably get away with 2,000 to 5,000. You know, same applies to English, by the way. Casper G saying, I always had trouble explaining a pair of pants versus pants to an English learners. And what you can do with pants is say, it's like, it's better if you don't explain it. It's better if it's explained in Japanese. But you're talking about the leggings of the, you know, it's like, why is it glasses? Well, okay, there's one glass, there's two glasses, so glasses. So for pants, pair of pants, let's think pantaloons. So the part of the leg, it was just covered the leg, you know, and then connected to whatever the crotch area was. You know, try to think of it like that if you want to. Yeah, so you're really just talking about the legs of the pants. But we never have one pant. You don't have a pant. Because yeah, I've had to explain that as well. That was my version of the explanation. And then of course you got to make sure it's like, it's not a pants, it's pants, but it is a pair of pants. But we haven't taught them pair of pants yet. We just say a pair of glasses, a pair of eyes, I don't think I've taught pair of, but you know, that'll be, but again, a pair would just be basically a counter word. It's just a word for two. But yeah, some things have really, what I've learned is when I was at technically I'm the owner of the English school. I'm a, so we're partnership in the, dual partner in an English school. So she explains the items in Japanese, I explain it in English. All right. And if I try to explain in Japanese, I'll probably screw it up. Maybe not mess it up too bad, but might use the wrong word to explain it. The wrong Japanese word for the explanation to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Other problems have been, it might just be like, especially if they're taking English classes at school, and we're being hired kind of like help smooth that out, which means we got to essentially explain the really bad way they're teaching English. But we have to use it because that's the English that they're being taught in school, that they're being tested on, so they have to do good at that, which it's kind of a weird situation, but that's fine. But that's for the kids that that aren't going to our school for learning English. So it's in other words, it's treating it like a cram school instead. But that's only 2 of the kids anyway. And that's when I'm not really teaching. That's when she's teaching. I'm there as sort of the assistant. Most times I'm there teaching, and she acts more as the assistant. And I think it works out quite well. I don't even know if you have that option where, like when I was doing an English class where we were both working for a company, even though we're the only two workers, the as far as English school was going on, she couldn't be in the classroom. She had to be outside at the waiting desk, or at the at the desk to greet people who might walk in. Whereas in the last year, we're both in the classroom together, and we, if I want something more, and basically, especially for grammar points, I want something more explained in more detail to the students. I want them to really understand the grammatical point of this, but explained in Japanese. And then we can keep it all in English after that. And I think that works out quite well, because the other way to make sure it will help is if, you have the child say, hey, or say this in Japanese. Because if they understand the material, they should be able to translate it into Japanese. All right. And that is very helpful in that then she can listen to that and tell, did they really understand it? And I could probably do it too, because usually it's at a level where, okay, yeah, they're definitely not. But if I can understand, if I know they got it wrong, that doesn't help if I can't explain why they've got it wrong, if I can't explain it in detail in English or in Japanese. So that's why it works out quite well. But it's just a matter, I control the classroom when it's the general English classes, whereas again, for the Aiken type ones, and she's controlling the classroom, and then I'm useless, but I might still chime in with maybe more detail, or definitely help with the pronunciation. That's the big thing that our class can offer. That again, they're taking this class at they might have a ALT there, but maybe not, which means they don't have a native English speaker there, or a lot of the native English speakers are not really native English speakers. They're from the Philippines, so really it's a second language for the person who's speaking. Though they speak it probably quite well, it will have an accent, and because it's a second language, they may not pick up on any of the mistakes that a child might make if they were talking, if that makes sense. So that's the benefit, definitely the biggest benefit of a native speaker, is that they can pick up on mistakes, and then that can be corrected. But I'm still a proponent, even in the classroom. Like I'm pushing to get these kids to watch stuff in English. Like now, I've even kind of demonstrated that it works quite well. Like again, this is like a kid that's on level 4 of Let's Go. Which, if you look at Let's Go, you realize that's not too high of a level. But they can watch an episode of Peppa Pig, which is only like 4 minutes long. Then I give them the script that I had printed out, and I turn the computer around so they can't see the video, but I play it again and they're reading to the video, and I had them underline words they don't know, and it worked out great. And I was like, we talked to them and say, hey, how easy is it to understand? They've read a page worth of English, 4 to 5 minutes worth of English, and understand it. And they had to underline a few words that they didn't understand, but then we can explain that to them, and it worked out great. Whereas if they were just watching the show, if they didn't understand a word, they would have forgotten that they didn't understand it, or not even know how to ask what they didn't understand. And we didn't have to pause, because they were getting pissed at me pausing the video too much to kind of explain every scene in the cartoon. So okay, cool, I can stop doing that. But then that worked out quite well. It's kind of interesting. I'm sorry anyway, apologies about going into detail on my English schools in a video about reading Japanese. Yeah. Anyway, and I went into way too much detail there, Casper, so I apologize. Let me just end it there, because we're like in an hour 43. Jesus Christ, this has never been, it's been a while since it's gone this long. I am only doing one video today. Actually, I did a video this morning, as I mentioned at the beginning of this. I recorded it, but it's going to be uploaded. It's already uploaded. It'll be being made public on July the 1st. This video, let me write it down now. This video is going to be made available on July the 10th. Let's see. Yeah, so say number 1. All right, so this will be made available July the 10th at 8 o'clock in the morning, Japanese time. Yeah, so I'm about, let's see, it's the 30th. So I'm about, I want to say 10 days ahead, 10 or 11 days ahead. Once I catch up to 14, I'm not going to be doing live streams maybe on daily. I might have to with this one. Like, if this is taking me this long, anyway, we'll tell. But I try to do 2 videos a day. But here's the thing, though. This took longer, but I liked it. I was having fun. So that really means I don't care too much about the time. But I kind of make sure like I'm not talking too much during the video when we're doing the whole Let's Read portion. After the video, I don't give a fuck. Because it's like, you can turn off the video. That's no problem. It's just me ranting, kind of getting my emotions out there, which helps sometimes. But yeah. All right. But this is 12 videos. This is going to be 12 videos. And each video is going to be an episode. So that's great. That's great there. And again, it's a lighthearted. It's good. I had a bad, the first time I watched it, just because he was seeming so angry, I thought, man, I wouldn't want to be around somebody like that all the time. But you realize he's not like that all the time. It just had a bad situation, both with the client he had to deal with, and some of the worries he brings into he brings kind of from work. I understand that, and the show kind of demonstrates that as well. So I like that about this particular this particular drama. So I think this should be if you get a chance, check this out on Netflix. What Did You Eat Yesterday? I think it only has English subtitles. Let me check real quick. No. Only Japanese subtitles. There's no English. I thought this had English subtitles. My apologies. So yeah, to see this, you might need to make sure, go into your settings, make sure it shows you material from Japan as well. So click the Japanese option in your in the settings for your Netflix settings. And you might even have to say it where it displays your language in Japanese. I don't think so, but you might. And yeah, well, so we'll be back with the episode 2 tomorrow. That'll be July the 11th is when that'll be made available. Although July the 1st when I'll be doing the live stream of it. Thank you to Casper G, Merlot, Willie Nilly, I like the name, and Drock for your comments. Yeah, and this has been Let's Read Japanese. Ki no nani食べた? What did you eat yesterday? If you liked the video, remember to give a thumbs up, like, and make a comment, because feedback's always welcome. This is part of the, if you like the series as a whole, subscribe to the channel. I make more like this. This is all part of the Let's Learn Japanese project, so you can become a member of the Patreon to support that. Links below, along with links to the website and the community Discord. And finally, there's links if you want to hire me on commission. The hourly rates and the payments done via the Patreon as well. All right. And yeah, with that, thank you, and I'll see you next time. In fact, let me just say thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Cool. Later, guys.